Hi guys, welcome to Netgate Chemistry. So in the previous video of quantum, we have discussed about the particle in a 3D box. So moving ahead, we are going to discuss today some of the important formulas which we will be using before starting out with the hydrogen atom. So first of all, whatever we are going to discuss, just remember that right now we are dealing with single electron species. Okay. Right now in our discussion, whatever we are talking about single electron species. So first of all, if we are having single electron species, then if we want to find out the energy at various levels, so suppose this is the nucleus, this is 1s, this is 2s, right? These are the orbitals, and we want to find out the energy at various levels. So the various formulas which we can have are, first is minus 13.6 z square by n square. This is the formula to find out the energy in electron volt. This is the first formula. After this, we can have formula E is equals to minus of 0.5 into z square by n square in atomic units. This is the second formula. Remember here n will be what? N is this value, right? This 1, this 2, these are your n values, right? Now next formula could be energy is equals to minus RH into z square by n square in centimeter inverse, where this RH is known as Rydberg constant, and this is having value of RH is having value of 109,737 centimeter inverse. Okay, so this is the value of Rydberg constant. This is the third formula, and there is fourth one also. E is equals to minus E square by 8 pi epsilon naught Rn. This is the radius of nth orbital. Rn is the radius of nth orbital, and the energy we are going to find out in terms of joules. So far these are the four formulas, and depending upon whatever you have been given, you can find out the energy at various levels. Now moving ahead, we have already studied about what is azimuthal quantum number. We denote azimuthal quantum number as small l, and the value of the small l is from 0 to n minus 1, right, where n represents the shell. Here we have discussed what is n. So if we want to find out the number of angular nodes, this is very important. If you want to find out the number of angular nodes, so the formula will be simply equal to L. Number of angular nodes will be equal to small l. This is what you need to remember. This is a formula, very important formula. Now, if you know this value of azimuthal quantum number, you can also find out the angular momentum, orbital angular momentum. Which is denoted by capital L. So you can find out the value of L also. It is given by root under L into L plus 1 into H cross, or you can say L square is equals to L into L plus 1 H cross square if we square both the sides. So if you know the value of azimuthal quantum number, you can find out the value of orbital angular momentum as well. So this is the next formula. After this, if we discuss about magnetic quantum number, which we denote as small m. So I I hope you can remember that in case of p orbitals, what we used to do in +1 or +2, these are the 3 p orbitals. So we used to designate these orbitals, the m values, like this: -1, 0, +1. If we were having d orbitals like this, so we used to designate like this: 0, -1, -2, +1, +2. This way we used to give the values of magnetic quantum numbers. So the formula for magnetic quantum number was from -L to 0 to +L. For example, if we have the value of L is equals to 1, so for L is equals to 1, what will be the values of M? So it will be M is equals to -L, that is -1 to 0 to +1, that is -1, 0 and +1. These three will be the M values for the corresponding L value. So for L is equals to 1, we will be having the values of M as -1, 0, +1, right? Now if you know the magnetic quantum number, so what you can find out is angular momentum Z component. If you want to know about the Z component of angular momentum, which is designated as Lz, so you can find out that. So it is equals to Lz is equals to m into h cross. This is a simple formula to find out Lz. So far what are the important formulas? This one first, this is second, third formula, the fourth formula, right, where you have to learn the RH value, what is Rydberg constant value. Next formula is this one, right? Number of angular nodes is always equals to L, that is azimuthal quantum number. Next is orbital angular momentum. You can find out if you know the value of azimuthal quantum number, and the formula is this one. If you square both sides, you will get this formula. And if you know magnetic quantum number, so you can find out the Z component of angular momentum, Lz, that is equals to m into h cross. So far these are the important formulas. Now also Lz is given by minus iota h cross del by del phi. This is also formula for Lz. So if you have values of m, so suppose here we have found the values of m as -1, 0 and +1. So what will be the corresponding Lz values? So how you can find out that? I will show you here. So suppose you have three values, right? Three values of m, that is -1, 0 and +1. These three m values we have, and we want to find out the corresponding Lz, that is Z component of angular momentum. So we are going to use this formula simply. So for m is equals to -1, Lz will be equal to m into h cross, that is -1 into h cross, so it will be minus h cross. For m is equals to 0, Lz will be equal to what? 0. For m is equals to +1, Lz will be equal to +1 into h cross, that will be equal to h cross. So this way you can find out the Z component of angular momentum if you know the m values. So far these are some of the important formulas. Now moving ahead. So before starting hydrogen atoms, we need to know a little bit about the coordinate systems. So we are going to discuss a little bit about the coordinate systems. So far we need basic knowledge of two systems. Very basic knowledge of two systems. One being the Cartesian coordinate system, and the other being the spherical polar coordinate system. So we need to discuss about these two systems. Now, Cartesian coordinate systems use x, y and z components. Okay, so we use x, y, z designations in case of Cartesian coordinate system, whereas in spherical polar coordinate system we use the designations r, theta and phi. Okay, now when we are going to use the x in Cartesian coordinate system, the corresponding spherical polar coordinate system which we are going to use will be equal to r sine theta cos phi, right? For y component we are going to use r sine theta sine phi. For those of you who are from mathematical background, you already know these things, right? For z component we use r cos theta. So the value of r here, the value of r ranges from 0 to infinity, theta ranges from 0 to pi, and phi ranges from 0 to 2 pi. So wherever we are going to use r theta and phi in case of hydrogen atoms, wherever we are going to use the integrations and we want to find out the limits, these are going to be the limits whenever we are going to use integration part in sphere and using the spherical polar coordinate system in hydrogen atoms. So this is what you should know, the limits, right? Now in Cartesian coordinate system, whenever we used to define d tau, then that was equal to dx into dy into dz. In spherical polar coordinate system, it will be equal to r square dr sine theta d theta d phi, right? Now don't worry, when we are going to start with hydrogen atoms, you are going to write these things down so many times that you are going to remember these things. Now we have discussed about del square, which was equal to del square by del x square plus del square by del y square plus del square by del z square. In spherical polar system, this value of del square is equals to 1 by r square del by del r into r square del by del r plus 1 upon r square sine theta del by del theta sine theta del by del theta plus 1 upon r square sine square theta del square by del phi square, right? So if you are thinking that you are not going to remember this part, don't worry, you need not remember this part till now, okay? So whatever you have to remember, I have just put that into a box, right, in the previous slide. So here you need not remember anything, right? So right now you need not remember anything. I'm just showing you in Cartesian coordinate system we used to have these things, whereas when we are going to use the spherical polar coordinate system, which we are going to use in case of hydrogen atoms, so you should be familiar with these things. Instead of xyz we are going to use these things, we are going to use these limits there, right? And we were using d tau as equals to dx into dy into dz earlier, but now in case of when we are going to solve the problems based on hydrogen atoms, we are going to use d tau as this one, and also del square will be replaced by this part, right? So far this is what you need to remember. There are 1-2 more formulas, so I hope you are going to remember those formulas. Those are important to remember, these are not, okay? So one being 0 to infinity limit Rn e to the power minus alpha r dr is equals to n factorial upon alpha to the power n plus 1. This is something which you need to remember, right? Now just 2 more formulas left. One is limit 0 to pi sine theta cos square theta d theta. Whenever you are going to see this integration, you will write it simply as 2 by 3, and for sine cube theta, integration 0 to pi d theta, you will simply write it as 4 by 3. These two things you have to remember. this is going to cut down on your numerical portion, right? So these two things you need to remember, and this one you need to remember. This part you need not remember. Once we are going to solve for hydrogen atoms, it's going to be easier for you because you are going to write these things down so many times that you are going to remember anyways these things, right? So right now no need to mug up this thing, right? You just need to mug up this thing and previously the formulas which I have told you, right, in this particular video. So I hope this video was helpful for you. So far that's it for this video. In next video we are going to start with the hydrogen atom. So far that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.